Good evening, I'm Jessica Aguirre. Coming up next on Channel 6 Action News, a lot of action in the Gulf today, but not the expected ground war. We'll have a live report from Saudi Arabia. Boaters in Fort Lauderdale showed their support for our troops in the Gulf. And an experimental plane crashes in Pompano Beach, claiming the life of the pilot. Those stories plus a day in sports, and we'll tell you if tomorrow is a good day to spend at the beach. Channel 6 Action News is next.
So how many cars does Mercedes test crash every year?
Oh, I say about 100. You can never learn enough. Ever since we had it patented, we have been improving this concept of the energy-absorbing car body.
But other companies use the concept.
We have never enforced the patent.
So Mercedes gave away a basic safety advance for free?
There are some things in life that are too important not to share.
We're earning our reputation one story at a time. Now, Diana Morgan, Channel 6 Action News.
The Pentagon says clearly there could be a ground war at any moment. Iraq fires its 37th Scud missile into central Israel, and a record number of Allied military flights pound Kuwait and Iraq as a noon deadline passes without a withdrawal of Iraqi troops. Good evening, I'm Jessica Aguirre. Diana Morgan has the night off. There's been a lot of developments in the Gulf. We go live right now to Channel 6 Action News reporter Jay Levine in Saudi Arabia. Here we go with Jay Levine.
Here in Saudi Arabia tonight, 533,000 Americans prepare for battle, convinced that Saddam Hussein has made his choice and sealed his fate.
I really don't think a man like that should be alive, period.
We asked him nicely, more or less, gave him a deadline, and he didn't leave.
We should go in there, get our job done, and get out of here as soon as we possibly can.
But the fallout from this war will outlast them all. These pictures taken last night show heavy smoke over Kuwait. It now blankets 25% of Kuwait. The Pentagon now saying that 30% of Kuwait's 1,200 oil wells have been set on fire by the Iraqis. But their campaign of terror doesn't end there. U.S. commanders now say that the Iraqis are rounding up more and more Kuwaiti citizens, executing those they've already tortured in a desperate effort to hide the evidence before the ground assault liberates Kuwait and reveals what they've done. This is Jay Levine reporting live from Saudi Arabia. Now back to you.
Thank you, Jay. To help put events in perspective, here are the headlines from the Gulf. The Pentagon says it's been given the go-ahead for a ground war, and the coalition is poised for a ground assault on Iraqi troops. Iraq says it's ignoring the deadline, calling it an aggressive ultimatum. Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev is urging President Bush to wait a day or two before starting the ground war. The Pentagon reports Iraqis are terrorizing Kuwaiti citizens, saying tens of thousands Kuwaitis are being detained and tortured. Iraq launched another Scud attack on Israel. No reports of injuries. Overall, it's been a long day, closely watched all around the world. Here are the details. Iraqi Foreign Minister Tariq Aziz had one last round of talks with the Soviets this morning, announcing Baghdad had given final approval to the Soviet peace plan. But as Aziz departed Moscow, he knew the Soviet plan did not have U.S. approval, nor did it meet with President Bush's ultimatum for Iraqi troops to withdraw out of Kuwait by noon today. As the deadline approached, the United Nations Security Council went into a closed-door session. Kuwaiti ambassador to the United Nations, Mohammed Abul Hassan, reiterated that the Council's position was firm.
Well, we hope that a clear-cut indication from Iraq should come. Concerning our position, we said that we will not accept anything short of a letter from the government of Iraq to the Secretary General of the United Nations, informing him officially that Iraq accepts all the 12 Security Council resolutions.
But the deadline came and went with no word of retreat from Iraqi troops. Instead, U.S. military command announced that Iraqi Scud missiles had scored a destructive hit on the Israeli city of Tel Aviv. As sirens wailed, audience members who had come to see the Israeli Philharmonic donned their gas masks. Meanwhile, reports continued to surface that more than 200 Kuwaiti oil facilities were aflame, touched off in an Iraqi scorch earth campaign intended to destroy the nation's oil industry and to obscure the battlefield targets. as Iraqi radio broadcasts denounced Bush's ultimatum as aggressive and arrogant. Troops reportedly scoured the city, committing atrocities against the Kuwaiti people.
There seems to be a systematic campaign of execution, particularly people that they may have tortured previously, that they're sort of destroying the evidence, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Meanwhile, the skies over Baghdad glowed with explosions as Allied warplanes blasted the city with a record number of air raids. Along the border, Army and Marine engineer units punched through sand berms, while members of the 101st Airborne Unit waited for word of a ground attack. Our action team coverage of the Gulf War continues now on the home front. Channel 6 Action News reporter Ileana Varela spent the day in Broward, where hundreds are showing their support for our troops in an unusual way.
High noon, Iraq's deadline hour, and the home front launches Operation Desert Float. More than 150 boats sailing down Fort Lauderdale's intercoastal in support of American troops in the Gulf. Aboard the Carrie B alone, more than 200 sailors, veterans, USO volunteers, and Gulf families.
This is a message sending them to the troops that we're not ignoring them and that we're 100% behind them with esprit de corps from Broward County.
Even though this is very much of a fun and party atmosphere, everyone here shares a serious concern about the possibility of the war escalating. Patricia Sawyer's son Troy is with the Army Artillery in the Gulf. That puts him in the front line during a ground war.
As a parent, I would rather bring him back and let me go over there and fight, just to be sure that he'll be safe.
Very nervous.
Yes, very nervous. I'm just on pins and needles.
Those here say they'll stand by whatever the president decides, but more than a few would like to just get it over with.
People like him should be wiped out from the face of the earth.
That's it, baby. Let's go. Kick him out of there. All the way to Baghdad.
No question.
Level it.
We just get him out of the hole and bury that little mole. We won't have no more trouble. But if we let him stay down there, he's going to rise again.
So you want to let him have it?
Let him have it. Hot and heavy.
That was Ileana Varela reporting from Broward. In support of the Gulf War, we've seen just about everything decorated with yellow ribbons. Now it's time for Metrorail to get online. Today, volunteers wrapped Metrorail support columns with 25 feet of yellow ribbon. Operation TRAM, which stands for Tire Ribbon Around Metrorail, expect to use the 70,000 feet of ribbon for the project. The people who came up with the idea say it's their way of letting the troops overseas know they care. No matter where you may need to turn for help regarding the war, the Channel 6 Action News Gulf Link can help. We've gathered together a list of important phone numbers for advice and counseling. You can call our Gulf Link hotline 24 hours a day at 1-800-678-WCIX. The Gulf Link hotline is a service of Channel 6 Action News on MCI. There's still a lot more ahead on Channel 6 Action News. A small plane crash in Pompano Beach claims the life of the pilot. We'll tell you what happened. And a cruise ship comes home after a fire forces passengers and crew to evacuate. Those stories and much, much more when Action News returns.
They're elderly, sick, so you send them to a nursing home where they'll be taken care of, right?
It's not a place where anyone ever wants to be.
Patients have died.
I want to know what happened.
Some South Florida institutions have a track record of substandard care, neglect, even death. Which nursing homes are putting the ones you love at risk? How can you choose the right one?
Susan Candiotti investigates shelters of neglect. Sunday on Channel 6 Action News. We're earning our reputation, one story at a time.
A cold always starts small. A stuffy nose, a little sneeze. But before you know it, your cold is full grown. Achoo! That's when you need Dimetap, the grown-up medicine.
Checking account costing you. Did you ever add it up? They're charging you month after month. Well, now look what you get when you open a checking account at Great Western. It's free. You don't have to pay any charges for 6 months. Think of all the money you'll save. So give Great Western Bank a call. There's a branch near you that's giving away free checking.
One man is dead today after the experimental plane he was flying crashed into a Pompano Beach golf course. Officials say the plane traveled about a quarter mile from the Pompano Air Park before it went down at the municipal golf course. The FAA is investigating the cause. The pilot, whose name hasn't been released yet, was taken to Imperial Point Medical Center, where he died. This Soviet-made cargo plane made a safe landing at Miami International Airport this morning. The Aeroflot plane is one of the largest aircrafts in the world. This is its first visit to Miami, and already it's causing a stir as drivers along 836 slowed down to take a look. The giant airplane is delivering a 70-foot replacement wing, which is too large for conventional cargo planes, even the 747 series. The Coast Guard says the Sovereign of the Seas has passed its safety inspection and is cleared to set sail for the high seas tonight. You'll recall a fire broke out on the cruise ship Wednesday morning. But as Channel 6 Action News reporter Bud Frager reports, while the fire caused little damage, there are still some questions about how it was handled.
Outwardly, the Sovereign of the Seas showed no sign of the fire that Wednesday caused the evacuation of her 3,000 passengers and crew. The fire broke out in a ship pantry while she was moored at San Juan Harbor in Puerto Rico. Cruise line executives today characterized the fire as insignificant.
From what I understand, the fire area was about the square foot size of a desk.
And while you would expect cruise officials to minimize the incident, passengers too downplayed the fire.
It was joked about for the rest of the cruise that, it caught fire and you can't do this, and all songs that were, with burning in them. People just laughed and took it as it was.
Not all the passengers were laughing. 30 decided not to reboard the ship and were flown home. And while the company is going to give everyone a full refund, for one couple, it wasn't quite enough.
Yes, well, we were to be married in St. Thomas, of course, and due to the fire, we didn't get there. We're not sure exactly what we're going to do. We're going to contact the cruise line by letter afterwards and see what kind of accommodations they might be willing to make for us.
And while there were no injuries from the fire, the U.S. Coast Guard and National Transportation Safety Board have begun a formal investigation into the cause of the fire and whether the officers and crew aboard handled the emergency properly.
It's like any investigation. We want to see if the fire plan worked. We want to see what actions the crew took and if those actions were correct.
Bud Braga, Channel 6 Action News.
Still ahead on Channel 6 Action News, if you were told to go fly a kite today, it may not have been said in anger. We'll tell you why.
Also, in case you thought it was warm outside, it was. We had some record highs. I'll tell you where they were and what you can expect for the day tomorrow. That's all coming up next on Channel 6 Action News.
Right now, you can get Sizzler's all-you-can-eat triple shrimp combo. Crunchy golden fried shrimp, tangy shrimp cocktail, and savory Cajun shrimp.
Can I have more of just the fried shrimp?
Yes.
Can I have more shrimp cocktail?
Sure.
Just Cajun shrimp?
Yeah.
Good. I'll take all three.
The all-you-can-eat triple shrimp combo. As much as you want of what you want. For a limited time only at Sizzler.
Someday, real estate transactions may be as simple as pushing a button, but until then, real estate sales are best accomplished by those who have the experience it takes to market your property. RE/MAX sales associates across North America average nearly 10 years of real estate experience. That's why in today's world, RE/MAX associates make more sales. So until there's a better way, push the buttons that put you in touch with RE/MAX.
Selling homes now. RE/MAX experience.
One day when I was 8 years old, we packed everything into a truck and moved to our first house. It was so exciting, all the rooms. And I remember Mom and Dad were so glad because now we had something that was really ours. To them, that house meant freedom. And it meant freedom to me, too.
We've given over 1 million families a better way to own their own home. Glendale Federal Bank, the way a bank should work.
When you use Turf Builder fertilizer from Scott's, you get the kind of lawn everyone wants.
Hey, where's the lawn?
Scott's, a greener lawn or your money back.
South Beach is home to art festivals, music festivals, and now a kite festival? Well, of sorts. It's the Southeast Sport Kite Championship, and today there are all kinds of kites dipping and swooping in the wind. You can take a look at these aerial butterflies for yourself Now through Monday, you'll find them on the beach at Ocean Drive between 6th and 9th Street. That looks difficult to do, doesn't it, to get them all going like that?
Have you ever done that?
No, I'm not that coordinated.
They're called gang kites, and you really have to manipulate them or they crash.
Oh, well, the weather may be perfect to do that. Well, now Cliff Morrison is with us.
Hi. We actually had, in case you thought it was warm out today, Miami International, it's just right outside the Channel 6 studios, had a high of 89 degrees. West Palm had a high of 88, and also Homestead out there at the Air Force Base, they had a high of 89, all records today. Isn't that amazing? It was warm out there, a little warmer than we thought. We had thought maybe we'd get up into the mid-80s, but we did better than that, that's for sure. There's Miami Beach from our own Lori Dick, a great shot, and it was a fabulous day for the beach. You couldn't beat it. It just couldn't have been any better, and I think tomorrow is going to be just about the same way. Right now, we have Miami at 86 degrees, Miami Beach 81, Kendall is 84, Fort Lauderdale 88, and Key West is 81, all under great-looking skies. What a fabulous day. In the surf off the world-famous beaches at Miami Beach, the temperature is 75 degrees. Winds are from the west now at 17 miles an hour. The relative humidity, 43%, a little bit drier, and the pressure is on the rise at this hour. Now, what we have over in the Persian Gulf, it's this area right here. We don't show in our satellite photos any of the smoke at all from the oil fires, but definitely they're in a fair weather situation between that rainy system to the east and also another rainy system coming off the Black Sea and into Turkey. So they're going to hold their weather pattern for the next couple of days. Afternoon highs have been in the 60s, overnight lows generally in the 40s. Now, for us tonight, it's going to be a little cool as this frontal system passes through. Now, I'll tell you, as it passes through the state, it's losing its rain potential, and most of the moisture is around it. We've had some showers in the central part of the state, but as you can see, there it is right now, and I think what's going to happen, if you could take a look on the satellite, is it's bowing over to the north of us, and I think us down here in the southeast are just not going to get much of a rainy evening, though I still put a chance of some very, very light showers in the forecast, especially for late at night when the front actually comes through. Here's where most of the weather is. From Alabama and through the Carolinas, they had flooding there to 9 inches and then some in the last 24 hours or so. Lowest temperature in the nation, 23 below in Mount Washington, but really nobody lives there. So I picked 14 below. That should be 14 below zero, and that's International Falls, the coldest temperature in the nation. 7 inches of snow up around Minnesota. Michigan had a few inches. Snowy area will continue. Winter is definitely there. There's the flooding, and of course the warmest temperature in the nation today, 90 degrees in Fort Lauderdale. Not a record, but definitely the warmest temperature so far in the nation today. Now, for tomorrow, that whole snowy system is going to lose a little bit of the definition and just draw snow around the Rockies and rain just to the south of that, West Texas and up to the hill country, and also around the Great Lakes. They're going to get just a few flurries tomorrow. It'll also be windy as that front passes through the Chicago area. For us tomorrow, it's just going to be a fine day, I think. Late in the afternoon, you might have a sprinkle or two, but nothing really to even put in the forecast that much. Overnight lows, still the northern part of the nation, the coldest, zeros and teens. This time of year, I might see some records for tomorrow. And the warmest spot, still the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and 80s in the south central part of the nation, and of course, where we live. Late night sprinkles, look out for some inland fog as the temperature reaches the dew point. Low temperature 64 to about 66 degrees. Partly cloudy, a slight chance of an afternoon shower tomorrow. Underline the word slight, high 82 to 86. And if you're taking the boats out, southeasterly winds 10 knots, seas 2 feet or less. The Bay and the waters will have a light chop. Low tide, 9:40 tonight, high tide 4:11 in the morning. And sunrise will be at 6:50 tomorrow morning. Well, the 5 days ahead, I showed just a small chance of those showers tomorrow. And then again on Wednesday. Otherwise, temperatures, at least the highs, will stay very close to 80 degrees Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday as we, again, I got to tell you, have the best weather in the entire nation. If you're down here visiting, welcome. We love you, and, well, we try to give you the best weather.
Any chance of getting another big cold front?
You know, every time I say that, we get one.
So say it.
You want me to say it?
Yes.
I don't see any chance of it.
Wow.
So we'll see what happens.
Thank you very much, Cliff.
You're welcome.
Tomorrow evening on Channel 6 Action News, investigative reporter Susan Candiotti will begin a series recalling the shelters of neglect. When someone we love is put in a nursing home, it is expected that the person will receive expert attentive care. But as Susan found in her investigation, some nursing homes are not living up to that expectation. Susan will report on 2 suspicious deaths to nursing home patients and the possible attempt to cover up the circumstances to protect the nursing home. We'll also tell you what you can do to make the best selection you can when you have to find a nursing home. Shelters of Neglect, a Channel 6 Action News investigative report begins tomorrow at 6:30. Sports is next. Channel 6 Action News. Stay with us. Russell will be coming up next. We'll have a report.
Unlike big juice companies, we have a different idea about corporate ladders, mergers, even stockholders' meetings.
Morning, Ed. Hi, Bob.
Fresh and natural brand, not from concentrate orange juice, is made by a co-op of Florida growers whose only business is making juices. They own the land, they own the trees, they own the company. It makes for a difference you can taste. Fresh and natural brand premium orange juice.
In the last decade, home ownership fell for the first time since the Depression. But at NCNB, we believe even today, your home is still your most important investment. That's why this year we'll provide over $4 billion for home improvement, home equity, and mortgage loans. After all, when you're the nation's 7th largest banking company, you can't forget that your most important investments are right here at home.
Water is the lifeblood of Florida. Don't bleed us dry.
Turn it off!
Call for your free How to Turn It Off brochure.
Porch and Patio. Not just another patio furniture store, but South Florida's largest, with the biggest selection and all the best brand names. Modern, classic, traditional, and contemporary designs. Porch and Patio has it all. Come in this weekend to either of our showrooms. At Aventura on Biscayne and 172nd, at Kendall on US 1 and 148th, and opening soon at Lighthouse Point on US 1, South Florida's largest Porch and Patio, this weekend.
They were the child stars of Dennis the Menace, The Donna Reed Show, Gilligan's Island, Bewitched, and Different Strokes. But what really happened behind the scenes and after the applause?
She told me that if I took more than 2 takes to get a scene, she would beat me, and she did. I had murderous fantasies about killing people.
Where I went wrong was when I got older. I didn't realize that I really had to grow up.
Nothing can protect you from the loss of fame. Fame is a hard drug.
The TV kids we grew up with on the next Geraldo.
Monday at 5 on Channel 6.
With us now is Russell Shamoka. So do you think that Jim Palmer has a chance, and is he doing this in his briefs?
You're going to say he's going to have a brief career. You know, you got to ask yourself, how old is old? I mean...
How old is old?
I don't know. I'm not that old, and you're not that old, but maybe Jim Palmer is a little old. But who knows? Everyone's wishing him well. Jim Palmer's quest to turn back the hands of time began today. The 45-year-old pitcher showed up in uniform at the Orioles training facility in Sarasota. Palmer trying to become the first active Hall of Fame player. Now, Palmer threw before hundreds of onlookers out there who are just as curious as the Orioles are if this guy can really make it back. Palmer will be competing for a job with pitchers half his age.
I'm not the future of the Orioles, and we had a long discussion. I said that's not my job to help people, but I will certainly try to if they ask for any help or whatever. And I'm here to make the ball club if I can, and if not, maybe have some impact on some of the younger players.
And if he doesn't make it there, he can always go back to broadcasting. He is the broadcaster for the Baltimore Orioles. Now, we got one update from Gainesville today. Canes 5, Gators 0. That is in the 8th inning of a series that's going up in Gainesville. Okay, horse racing now, in a big race out at Gulfstream, the 3rd leg of the Florida Derby Series, the Fountain of Youth Stakes. $100,000 purse for 3-year-olds, and down the stretch they came.
Moment of truth, second. There's 4 lengths back, Subordinated Dead in Oregon. They come to the wire. It's Fly So Free, a romping winner going away by 4.5. Moment of truth, second, and Subordinated Dead third.
Fly So Free, your winner. He is now the early favorite to take the Florida Derby later in March. College hoops. The Hurricanes face perennial powerhouse DePaul tonight at the arena. Tip-off is at 7:30. Meantime, up the road in Gainesville, the Gators and Kentucky clashed in a SEC battle. Wildcats in blue control the game much of this one. Darren Feldhouse crashes the boards for the putback jammy, but Florida rallies back. Stacey Poole kisses it off the window. This game is tied at 59. Rick Pitino says, "You gotta be kidding me." Kentucky turns the ball over. Ronaldo Garcia feeds it inside for Dwayne Davis for the dunk. The Gators might pull this one out, but Kentucky went on a 19-7 run. Feldhouse in traffic gets it to go. The Wildcats showing they are the top of the SEC, winning 90-74. Now, Chris Corchiani of NC State trying to be the all-time assist leader. He had a couple of assists against Virginia today, but Chris out of Hialeah, Miami Lakes is just one shy of tying that record set by Sherman Douglas of the Miami Heat. Here are your numbers today. Kentucky over Florida. Florida State beat Virginia Tech. It was Ohio State over Minnesota. Arkansas trounced Texas A&M. North Carolina easily over Clemson. Kansas over Oklahoma. LSU beat Tennessee, while it was NC State, like we said, over Virginia. By this time next week, the PGA Tour will be invading Doral Country Club for the Doral Ryder Open. But first, it was out west and the third round of the LA Open. Veteran pro Bruce Litsky had a 3-shot lead on the back nine, but shots like this, you won't hold the lead for too long. In fact, he had 2 bogeys in a row. Making a charge in the meantime, Jeff Sluman, 16th hole, this for birdie, got it. He's one back of the leader. Then on 18th, cool and calmly, he sinks another Boyd. That forges him into a 3-way tie, and that's the way he'll shape up for tomorrow's final round. Finally, sometimes hockey coaches, they overreact. They throw things like sticks, helmets, water bottles, even garbage cans. The coach of one team threw one last Sunday, and he was suspended for 3 games, so a benefit they had, and fans were called out of the stands to give it your best shot. As you can see, this is no trashy business. Some guys threw it pretty long, and as for sports, I think we're going to put a lid on it for right now.
Thank you very much, Russell. A gridiron action was not the only excitement this afternoon at a benefit football game for Dade's Operation Homefront, a support group for military families. As Channel 6 Action News reporter Bud Frager reports, the halftime show included a performance by an elite canine squad.
When we get a chance to put on a demo like this, it just shows the public and the people that are really knowledgeable what police dogs are like, how really important they are in police work. And my dog has to be a narcotics dog, and he's confiscated millions of dollars in the past 6 months in drugs.
Canines are becoming the preferred partners among some top cops because they're tenacious, trustworthy, and want only one thing from their handlers, a pat on the back. But for Officer Stan Taylor, Gator has become more than a partner.
Well, in a way, it's better than having a kid because these dogs will do what they're told all the time. The kids don't always do that. But they are part of the family. We do keep them at home with us, and we enjoy having them around.
While the halftime demonstration showed off the canines' ferocious side, I learned they can be gentle, as long as you don't mess with their handler or squad car.
Right now, he would not bite you, no. He would probably just sit there and watch you until you made a move to get inside the car. He's trained to protect the car.
But he would not exit the car.
No, he wouldn't.
I decided to test the discipline of Gator, and thankfully, Officer Taylor was right. But more than discipline, the dogs are fearless. Even gunshots didn't slow Gator's attack. It is no wonder that cops on canine units say they'd prefer their 4-legged partner to a 2-legged one. Bud Fraga, Channel 6 Action News.
Those dogs are so smart. By the way, a police canine unit is the subject of a CBS comedy movie tonight. Canine can be seen starting at 9 o'clock tonight here on Channel 6. It's a good movie. And that completes our early edition of Channel 6 Action News. I'm Jessica Aguirre. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back tonight at 11.